Hello there. My name is Einav Avni, and I want to talk to you about what happens when we ignore or repress or really just don't process our emotions. So, I work a lot with people, mainly people suffering from chronic pain, chronic illnesses, or unexplained medical conditions. And the one thing that I can say, this is definitely my belief and my opinion, that the cause to these illnesses and pains is really stress related, it's emotional. There's a lot of things in the way that we live our lives that is out of alignment with what it is that we're meant to be and do, and how much of our potential we're actually fulfilling. Nearly 14 years ago now, my older brother passed away from cancer, melanoma cancer, more specifically. And I remember at the time being really impressed with his attitude to the whole illness thing, because it seemed that he was saying basically, I'm not buying into it. It's not happening. You know, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not allowing it any space on the table. It's not happening. And at that time, I remember thinking that was so wonderful. Really, I mean, he went through all the treatments and stuff, but I like the idea because, in my opinion, back then, 14 years ago, nearly, was that really, if you don't buy into it, if in your belief system you don't have the cancer, then it will help you heal. What I understand now, though, is that it would have been a very different story if, instead of saying, it doesn't happen, it's not here, I'm not ill, you you know, simplifying stuff, if he would have said, this sucks, and here is what is upsetting me, and here is everything that is outraging me, and looking at emotions as they were back then, whenever back then was. Maybe it's about his childhood, or maybe it's about his growing up, or maybe it's about even current stuff. But the idea is that when we repress emotions, when we say it's not happening, we're not letting them a way out, we're not giving them a way out, we're not inviting them to share what it is that we are really experiencing and what we're really feeling. So our emotions really, the benefits of emotion is that they really indicate to us how we are feeling, what it is that is actually going on with us. Now, a lot of the time we're just too, you know, kind of even like rabbits in headlights, right? We don't want to think about these things. We don't want to allow the emotions. I remember when my brother passed away. I remember thinking, just don't cry. If you cry, you're not going to be able to stop. See, I'm still, and and the thing is, I remember back then is saying it's better not to, because really, I didn't know how I would react. Of course, I had at that time, I had family, small children, and didn't really want to fall apart. So it was better for me to just say, actually, also, just a little bit like what my brother was doing, ignore it, not allow it out into the open. But now I understand that really, like I said before, when you allow the emotions out, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel really sad and really shitty about all of these things. Back then, it was my first brother that I lost. It was terrible. Since then, I've lost another brother, and that's even more terrible. But what do you do with the emotions? The emotions are not here to say to you you're weak, or you know you're not brave, or you're not courageous. The emotions are here to say, hey, I feel something. I've been through something that is painful. It's not just the one time loss. It's all, it's the memories. It's the everything that is not here anymore. Now, of course, I understand we will meet again. I understand this is what they went through and all of that, what the soul plan was and all. I really do understand that, and I really do believe in that, and that is helping a little bit. But what is not helping is to repress the emotions and to put on a big brave face and to say, soldier on, I'm fine. Now, how do we actually let emotions out? One way, of course, is crying. Crying is wonderful. Crying is this beautiful opportunity to own what you feel, to own that you're in pain, that you are sad, that you are experiencing things. Recently, I shared. Of course, I'm not going to share with you now, but I recently shared an image of it's kind of a wheel of different emotions, and I was saying that most of the time we have, very basic emotions that we that come to mind when we think about emotions. So maybe it's sadness and anger and frustrations, overwhelm, guilt, shame, very basic emotions. But what it is that actually each of these emotions can be further broken down. So the example I remember giving was, maybe I'm feeling sadness, but maybe, what I'm really feeling is loneliness. And then what I'm really feeling is isolation, you know. And so when you dig down into the actual emotion that you're feeling, it is so much easier to really understand what is going on with you. And then you can also say, I know what to do about it. And when I say to do about it, I don't mean to go and, actively, I'm not talking about doing really, but if I feel that I'm being isolated, then I can have different conversations with people. Maybe I can create new opportunities. Maybe I can, go out on the town and, I don't know, speak to some strangers. I don't know what I can do, but there is something that I can, a way to address it. But if I'm just thinking I'm sad, maybe I'll just sit, at home and have ice cream. That's what I see in the movies they do. But you can see the very different attitude to all of these things. So it's really interesting that when we allow ourselves to start looking into emotions and really understand what they mean, we can actually do something about it without blocking it. So this is one invitation from me to you. Another invitation is, of course, to, if you can't talk with anyone about it, and I'm not talking about a coach or a therapist or something like that. If you can't talk to a friend about it, you know, same, for me, my brothers, when they passed away, you don't really want to bring it up, because first of all, it's, you don't want to upset other people, your family mainly. And another thing is that people don't know how to react, how to respond. So then you think, well, I won't put them in that position, right? I'll just keep it to myself. But if you have someone that you can talk with, do it. And if you don't have someone you can talk with, then I suggest writing it down. Because writing it down, not typing it, but actually writing it pen to paper, this is so helpful, because at some point it becomes really a flood of everything that you are holding inside of you. And it's a really beautiful release of emotions and fears and thoughts and worries and, whatever it is that you're going through that you've been blocking and holding back for so long. So that's another way. So journaling, talking to people, figuring out exactly what is the emotion, kind of narrowing it down to more meaningful breakdown of emotions. That's really, really helpful. But also, I guess sometimes I speak with people and they say to me, well, I just don't feel the emotions. And I'm like, yeah, you don't feel the emotions because you've taught yourself that emotions are not a good thing. So sometimes people, from very early on, very early age, they say, I don't feel emotions. And the point and the problem is that back then, when you were a child, little child, sometimes you figured out for yourself that if you do emotions, if you were crying, if you were angry or sad, society, your parents, your family, they treated you in a way that didn't help you. So after some time, you taught yourself that when you show emotions, you get the wrong response. And now, so many years later, you're not doing emotions. And what happens? You get sick because your body can't take the amount of stress that we're putting it through. So when you tell me I don't do emotions, I know that there is a coping mechanism and security mechanism that you taught yourself, that it is safer to not do emotions. But I really recommend to start asking yourself every now and again, how do I feel? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to me? Maybe it's not such a good advice, because I don't want you to. You don't need to analyze it so much. You just need to feel it, to allow it. Emotions come and they go. They come in. So I see something. I see a movie that reminds me of one of my brothers, and immediately an emotion comes up. And if I allow the emotion to come and go, it will come and it will go away, because that's what emotions do. But if the emotion comes and I say, "Oh no, I can't feel it, move away, go away," then I'm suppressing it. more bottles up, at some point it will have to explode outwards. Most likely in a way of illness or pain or something like that. So the invitation is, don't block your emotions. Very simple, very easily said, very easier said than done. Don't block your emotions. Don't fear your emotions. Don't worry about expressing yourself, because we all have emotions, and if we don't do emotions, that's so much more troublesome than if you do your emotions. So thank you very much for listening to this. Einav Avni, I'm an energy healer and alignment coach. Energy healing modalities that I do, not Reiki. I knew you would think that, but I use the emotion code, the body code, and belief code to help release trapped emotions and blockages from our energy field, and thus helping us feel better physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And the alignment coach that I'm doing is helping you see where you are operating from fear, limitations, compromises, and helping you figure out how to get back into this alignment, harmony, solid knowing that comes from when you're following really what it is that you're meant to be doing here. Get in touch if you have any questions. I'd love to have a conversation. I love connecting with people, and I want to hear more from you. And yeah, let's talk. Have a great day.